Okay, so I'm here with Kyra, former DIOKOS intern, the greatest to ever do it. Could you give us a little introduction, please?
Yes, my name is Kyra Aligaen. I am going to be a junior at the University of Southern California in LA. I'm studying occupational therapy, minoring in international health, development, and social justice, and I was an intern at DIOKOS from May to July 23. Wait, that was wrong. May to July 2023.
That's real. That's a dang. That's a really long time. I thought that is that
Like
right? That's too much.
end of May to like mid-July 2023.
Okay, I was like, dang, that sounds like 3 months, bro. And you did so much in your time too. I swear. From the first moment I knew you, I was like, yo, Kyra's kind of made this whole thing happen.
No. It was like definitely because of like the collective and like working with everybody that like we were able to create what we have now. So
So I guess I'll just start real quick on some questions. First off, what interested you in interning in South Korea?
yeah, so through the program offered through my school, we had the option to choose between South Korea and Japan, so either Seoul or Tokyo. And not gonna lie, at first I was really leaning towards Tokyo just because growing up, like Japan was always somewhere that I wanted to go and visit. But I was really struggling to choose between Seoul and Tokyo when it came down to it. And I was talking to a lot of my friends who had been there before and like the friends that knew me, and they were like, you have a lot more interest in South Korean culture than you do Japanese culture. Um, so I was like, I think you're right. Like I am an army and like I love K-dramas and Korean food. So I was like, I feel like I should try to see like what Korea is like, and how it compares obviously to what we see in like the movies and the television shows and like how it's portrayed to like people in the US. Like I want to get to experience it for myself. And also like I was really interested in like Korean work culture because I mean, again, this is just my perception of like the K-dramas and stuff, but it looks pretty intense, and I was just really interested to see how it fared to what I understood of like Western working culture. So
Right.
yeah.
Very
Mhm.
well said, I must say. Did you get a good grasp of the Korean business culture? I think that was the thing that I was most nervous for, like coming to Korea. So
Yeah, I think I definitely did. Working with Danny, I felt like I was able to learn so much about Korean business etiquette. When me and my co-intern Patrick first came to DIOKOS, though, it was just the three of us. So it wasn't like the traditional Korean office work setting where there was like a larger team of people. Since it was like directly me and Patrick working with Danny, we reported to him and we got to learn from him one-on-one, which was something I was not expecting to have like the opportunity to do. Um, but I think that he taught us a lot about like different Korean business manners. And even like when we would go out to eat together every day, he would teach us like proper etiquette there, or when he'd have clients that would come to the office, he would teach us how to greet them properly in Korean, or just based on like the stories he would tell us, or like the advice he would give us and the wisdom he would share. I felt like I was able to gain insight into the business working culture of Korea, also because like Danny is such an experienced person. Just like learning through his experiences and his stories was really cool. Even if it wasn't something that like we directly experienced in the office, he was still able to give us insight on it. And then later when you guys came, when it was like Charmaine, Dylan, you and Alana, I felt like I got to experience what it was like to have um like a larger group of coworkers in like the Korean style working environment. And so I think yes, I did get to experience what it was like.
nice, nice. That's shoot, I was gonna say, oh, if you had one thing to advise people for in terms of like Korean business culture, what would it be?
I think like also I would say that Danny is I feel like not like the most traditional Korean CEO, like not what I was expecting out of like a Korean company, for example. Um, I know in Korea, like you're oftentimes expected to work beyond the hours that your boss assigns to you. And like no matter how long your boss stays at the office, you're supposed to stay that entire duration as well. But I found like sometimes me and Patrick, we would be there till like 5:50 or even like 6:05, and he'd be like, why are you guys still here? So
Yeah.
by that point we figured that we wanted to actually be um like on time with like because our schedule was 9 to 6, so we would like try to get out of there by 6 every day because he didn't want to keep us any longer, which I appreciated and was thankful for. And he really emphasized that like he didn't want us to work after hours and that he wanted us to get the rest that we needed, which I feel like based on my perceptions from like talking to other friends as well, like I feel like they were told to stay as long as like their other coworkers or the other boss was. And so like they ended up having like really long work days. And that could be really stressful. But with my experience with DIOKOS and Danny, he was very, he really emphasized like getting that rest and that like work life balance.
Right. That's so scary too, like the potential for working so long. Cause like
Yeah.
I know that it's so common too to just like work continuously through the night, like have office
Mhm.
buildings on at like 2
Mhm.
a.m. with lights and like keyboard fingers clacking away at the keyboard kind of thing.
Mhm.
That is really sweet though. So like something more based around just like, I don't know, being more mindful of your rest would
Right. Like just be prepared that like whatever company you might work at, you will have to adjust to their standards. So I was preparing myself to like, okay, I might have to have like these really long work days, but thankfully at DIOKOS he um let us go when he like at a proper not a proper time, but he let us go when like he thought we should go home. He didn't want to keep us any longer than he thought we needed to be there. But
right.
at other companies it is like common to stay for a while and even have dinners with your like coworkers or your bosses. So
Yeah, it seems like it's like a very like the structure of it was a little bit different for sure. We didn't even have to call Danny Tepenim either, which is pretty cool. Or
yeah, I know
Tepenim.
we didn't have to call him Depanim or Sajangnim.
Saddam. Yeah, I
I
was
don't know
like,
if that's the proper one. But I mean, he said he wouldn't mind it, but we're too deep into calling him Danny, so
yeah, right. We're on first name basis now. We're on first name
we're
basis
on
now.
first name basis, right? Yeah.
So, do you have, I guess, reflecting on your time, do you have a favorite experience in South Korea?
A favorite experience. I had so many like lovely experiences in South Korea and specifically Seoul. I have I'll note two. So one of them, one day, Danny let me like not come to the office and I got to visit like a private occupational therapy practice in Suwon, which is outside of Seoul. And Patrick was supposed to come with me, but he wanted to sleep in more, so I had to commute by myself. But it's like a pretty far commute. It's like almost 2 hours. And I had never commuted that distance by myself before, and so I was quite scared. And I actually ended up getting lost a little bit. And I was so stressed because I had like such a narrow time frame to meet with these people.
Right.
And I was like, I'm gonna be late and like I'm only gonna just get to talk to them for 20 minutes after I commuted like 2 hours. But it ended up all working out and it was really lovely because they actually were alumni from my school. So they're technically my Sunbae Um
Whoa.
but yeah, it was really cool like to hear about like their experiences as OTs in South Korea and like what they gained from my alma mater and like I was really grateful for the time they gave me and like the time to like talk to them and like see their practice. So that was really fun. And then after that, I met up with Patrick at Hwasong Fortress in Suwon, and I think that is one of the prettiest places I've been to in South Korea. I think you and Alana should definitely go.
Hwasong,
It's
Hwasong.
lovely. Hwasong Fortress, I'll send it to you after. But we also
Yes.
went to this pond. There's a reel on it on KoreaAgain's Instagram, but we also went to this
So
neighboring pond.
that's where it was, huh? I thought that was like a palace. Like I was like, oh my
No,
God.
no, but it's like a fortress. And then my Sunbeam from the OT practice recommended me to go to this nearby pond. And it was just really lovely and really pretty. And I love history, so it was really nice getting to like take that all in. And then after that, we like walked around and went to a cafe. So it was cool and it was just really pretty and beautiful and like would highly recommend to anyone visiting South Korea. And I just felt really proud of myself by the end of the day because I was like, wow, I commuted like a lot by myself. Like I took the bus, I took like three different trains and like I made it. And it really like solidified my independence in Seoul. And then or in South Korea, I mean. But then another time I really enjoyed was going to Namsan Tower um in like right before sunset. And me and my boyfriend went together actually, and it was just really nice because we had started our day like much later than anticipated, and we thought that we had a late start. And we were kind of like disappointed about that, but ended up being really perfect. And we came at like the best time. We got to see like the sky change from like day to night, and it was just so beautiful, like seeing like the Seoul skyline, and I felt like really emotional and just a lot that sense of gratitude again, like for being there and you having like the opportunity to even be here and like for all like the different events that happen in my life, for me to be able to like be here in this moment and get to take in this view, it was just really, really impactful for me. Sounds dramatic, but it left a profound effect on me. So those are two like really fond experiences I've had in South Korea.
Gosh, they sound beautiful. I'm like, I didn't know you were so into history either. Like, this is such
I
a great
love
place for history.
history. Yeah, I wish I went to more history museums in South Korea. I didn't really go to any. So, and that makes me sad, but I'm really interested in history. So, yeah.
Right. That's hype. That's hype. That's like
Mm.
those sound like beautiful experiences. Like, come on,
Yeah.
bro. Especially the sunset. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And there's so many other experiences as well, but like there's too many to count. And I feel grateful to even have like a multitude of things that I can say like I really enjoyed, during my time there.
That's serious. That's serious. So kind of, I guess in the sense of like of gratitude and optimism, do you have anything like a time when you feel most inspired or anyone who inspires you?
In general or like in
In
regards
general.
to I feel like I feel really inspired when I see um I'm trying to think of how to word this. Like when people show kindness even when they don't have to. Um and like you can really see like a person's character and a person's heart, and it's just like really apparent to everyone like that they're a good person. Um it just inspires me to want to be better and to continue to be the best version of myself as well. In that same vein, like when I see the people in my life that I love, when they make sacrifices for me, um, that also inspires me to want to, not let those sacrifices be in vain. So namely like my parents, of course. Um, they inspire me every day with how hard they work, especially I am an only child. So growing up with them, I feel like when I was younger, I didn't realize the like how hard they were working for me and like everything they did to provide the life for me that they have. But as I've grown older, I've just had like such a deep and profound like veneration for them and appreciation for them. Um, and just yeah, just a lot of gratitude for everything they've done for me. And so my only hope is to um, give back to them in some way, and just show them how thankful I am for what they've done.
That's really, that's honestly, man, that's beautiful, Kyra. Did you have any instance of one of these inspirational moments here?
Yes, I feel like um, I can say that like very confidently about our boss, Danny. Um, I really feel like I told my parents this as well. He really feels like a second father to me. And like I feel so surprised, like even being able to say that because coming to Seoul, I was so scared to be working in a foreign company, and especially like as someone who doesn't have a lot of marketing or business experience, I was like, oh my God, like, am I even going to be useful to him? And like, I really want to learn something. And I feel like he took a chance on me and Patrick when he didn't have to, and for that I'm like so grateful. And he like made a lot of effort to make sure that we were learning things that were most relevant to us, and that could help us with our future careers. And like obviously marketing to occupational therapy or marketing to biomedical engineering, it can feel like a stretch, but I really do feel like I've learned so many like hard skills, but also like soft skills and practical skills and like lessons about life that will stick with me for the rest of my life and also influence and impact like the kind of clinician I'll be one day, as an occupational therapist. And so, yeah, I'm just really grateful for all the times that he was generous to us, and treated us like one of his own. Even in like the very brief time that we spent together, I felt very taken care of and supported by him and protected by. And so, um, the relationship we've had with Danny is something I hope to maintain for as long as we can. And I feel really grateful to have the connection that we have with him and that I have with him. Um, and I wasn't super specific, but there was just too many times to count like the generosity that he showed me. Um, and so for that, like his kindness and his heart is something that inspires me. And I hope to be that kind of person also one day when I, start working professionally and like have my own family and such.
Right, right. I'm sure that like that kindness influenced your your
Mhm.
way of life here in Korea too. Like without
Yeah.
such a strong inspiration, I'm sure your experience would
Yeah.
have been different. So
Exactly. And I think like coming into work every day and knowing like I was working under someone who I was so inspired by and I admired so much, it made coming into work like really easy and exciting because I knew that I was working under someone who I respected a lot. And so yeah, like I think his just willingness to like mentor younger generations and like give back to people is something that I also want to continue to do um with my future goals and aspirations.
right. It sounds like the people inspire you almost more than like the world around you does. And that's really beautiful. Like
Yeah.
seeing another person grow with you. Or
Hmm.
we grow together,
I was gonna say,
right?
I was gonna
That's
say,
crazy.
we grow together. Indeed.
All right, so last question for you. I don't
Mhm.
want to like pull this out too long,
No.
but who or what will you remember most from your time in Seoul? I feel like you've touched on a couple of things, but
Yeah. Hmm. Well, I already talked about Danny, so shout out Danny again. I actually really am really thankful. If you're watching this, Danny, you're the best, and I feel really thankful for you and um the relationship and like the kindness that you showed me will be with me for the rest of my life for sure. And I just hope to have made you proud.
oh,
But in terms of like other things I haven't touched upon, I feel like I really admire the level of respect, the culture of respect that exists within South Korea and in Seoul. Um, and I think it's taught a lot going off of this whole theme of gratitude, because I feel like that word sums up my entire experience in South Korea. Just showing other people like how thankful you are to them for anything that they've done for you. And like it's even like the simplest things like I remember when the first week of school, me and Patrick, we visited like the middle school that Danny was lecturing at, and there was this really cute little girl in the back of the classroom, and she kept looking at me, and I looked at her, and I smiled, and she bowed, and I was like, oh, like I just like the sign of like bowing and like showing respect to your elders and to people who, are older than you or who have done things before you and that you look up to and admire is something that like is really touching and I think is really powerful as well. It's like a very small gesture, and I think even like without words, you can show how much you appreciate someone and how grateful you are to them. Um, and so yeah, I think just like the culture of respect is something that I also want to like continue to live out here during my time back in California. Just like to continue to maintain it even if it's not through bowing or like 감사합니다, like just like continuing to be grateful to everybody and everything, and like also all the life opportunities that have come my way. I would have never expected to intern at a marketing company, like even last year, like if you would have told me that I would have been so confused. But I really feel like the opportunities that we are given in life happen for a reason. I'm kind of rambling now. I'm saying two things. Bottom
no,
line, I
dude,
guess
like the
respect.
rambling is good, bro. Like this,
Okay.
like I'm listening to all of it. This is beautiful.
I
Like,
guess like the culture of respect in Korea and also something I took away from my time in Korea is like just to be um thankful for whatever comes your way. Because you never know how it might like impact the rest of your life or certain parts of your life. Um such as this internship. And yeah, and it was also really lovely getting to meet um, you guys as well and getting to work with people from different parts of the world as well and like listening to your guys' stories and like being able to bond over things that um, we shared and um, yeah, I think it was just so wonderful overall. Like my time in South Korea is something that like I feel very proud to have said I did and was able to visit.
do you see any part of your? Do you see a future here?
I I think it's hard with my field um to like immediately see myself like transitioning to a life there in South Korea. But I know that it is possible for me to like do some of my field work like in a different part of the world. And I know actually like the occupational therapy practice I visited, they're receiving like two students from my school for that purpose. And I was like, that'd be really cool if I could do that one day. And that's definitely something I would consider. But I'm not sure if I could see myself like living there long term. But I think for school purposes or for like another internship, I would definitely see myself coming back. I really enjoyed my time in South Korea. So I hope that I come back in the near future. Hopefully it's not like another like 10 years or something. But
Right.
yeah, I do see myself coming back, but maybe not for like long term.
Nice, nice. Well, I guess on that note, looking towards the future, I would like to thank you, Kyra, for just like
Oh,
providing your story and I don't
yeah.
know, describing what this experience means to you. I think that
Mhm.
it's you are yourself an inspiration.
Oh,
Your experience and your like candidness about generosity, I feel like is going to it's a really good it'll be a good impact on anyone seeking the same treatment. And it gives me a chance to inflect too. Like it's a
yeah.
beautiful your story is beautiful, Kyra. So thank you
Thank
for
you,
sharing.
Josh. And I
Yeah.
just also want to say thank you for always showing like the utmost kindness to everybody. Like from the start, you've always been really positive and someone who's had like the best vibes and someone that, a person can easily trust and talk to. So thank you for like creating this space where I felt comfortable enough to tell you like my experiences and like for taking the time to hear out my stories as well. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you, Kyra.